Hey, my name is Roxette Letty. Welcome to my channel. If you're new or if you've been following my journey thus far, what I do here is I pretty much post videos about. Let me retract. I became spiritually aware about 2 years ago, and ever since then, I've been pretty much documenting my experiences and lessons that I learned along the way. Through these YouTube videos in hopes that whoever sees them can relate and or find recluse and knowing that they're not alone. Before we get into the subject at hand, I want to express more or less where my belief is, just so I don't excuse me, just so I don't mislead anybody or waste anyone's time. I don't belong to any belief, creed, or denomination, religion, cults, whatever, I just simply am. And I'm learning things along the way, and I am completely, unconditionally certain in myself, period. So then, I have come to understand that there is a universal force, a power greater than ourselves, God, the creator, spirit, source, Pachamama, whatever you want to call it, an entity completely devoted to the violations of sacrility. Just a little side note before we get into these factors. I want to talk about karma itself, just so we understand and we're on the same page of what I believe and what I've understood and learned, and what your belief is. Whether it coincides or not, everything is actually correct. So karma was introduced to the Western civilization by Eastern civilization, and it was greatly misinterpreted. It's been interpreted as a belief that it's more of a punishment and reward, eye for an eye type of agreement or thing going on, and it's not so. Karma is not meant to be as a punishment and reward type of deal, because you punish you because you have ill intentions, or reward you because you helped the old lady cross the street. Karma stands for action itself, to do. And that is actually was a huge shocker for me, because I think all of us have once in our lifetime said, oh yeah, this will be good karma. And if you come to think about it, a lot of things that we do now, well, actually come to me when I thought about it, a lot of the things that I did in my past, they were not selfless, they were kind of selfish. Even the stuff that seemed selfless, like volunteering, good karma. Helping people, good karma. I mean, I'm not going to say that some of those things did not come out of, my heart. Most of them did. But if I get down and if I get honest to the true core, it was because I hoped and I was sure that it would come back to me. And that's not the way karma works. And what I mean by that is that karma is definitely about intention. It's definitely about hearts and feeling, because in a third dimensional world, we're living in a plane, in a reality of where duality exists. We're living in a dimension that is the most contradictive ever. We have contradicting ideologies, contradicting beliefs, contradicting everything. It's meant to teach us things, right? But on other higher planes, it's not like that. It's all about it's all about trusting your heart to steer your mind. So, karma is not a man-made law. We are grown and domesticated to believe that if we break rules, we get punished for them, and that's what we've associated karma with. Now, there is factors to how this works, because this law is not meant to punish and reward according to our systematic way of believing, because we live in a certain domestication. And domestication, if some of you are not aware, is we grew up believing that we had to be certain people, look certain way, act certain way, do certain jobs in order to be, respectable humans of society. Karma is not in any way adherent to what your age is, what culture, where you come from, your social status, or how much money you have. It does not care. It governs completely balanced throughout everybody and everything. It's the same for everyone. So how do we get to understand karma, and how do we get to catch up to it? And how do we get to understand it in order for it to, benefit us? And that starts with the great law. You reap what you sow. You get what you put out there. And remember, I'm not talking about third dimensional ways. What your intention is. Does that make sense? I could volunteer and help poor people, homeless people, and feed them, or help a bunch of old ladies cross the street. If my intent wasn't to genuinely help people, ain't shit gonna happen. I'm not winning the lottery anytime soon. Yeah. Life does not happen by itself. You make it happen. You attract what you are, not what you want. There's a saying my mom used to tell me when I was younger, when I was wildin'. She would say, "Dime con quién te juntas y te diré quién eres." Tell me who you hanging out with, and I'm telling you who you are. Guilty by association type of shit, and that's exactly, in a way that's kind of true, without the whole don't judge a book by its cover type of way. If you are surrounding yourself with negative, mundane beliefs, thoughts, ideologies, and people, what else can you expect, It's taken me a very long time to get to this point where I am able, and I guess what you call shadow work, really look at your shit, and really say, I've been through a lot, I've done a lot, and I am completely enamored and proud of the woman that stands before you today for everything that I am and everything that I'm not. I finally have seen myself as somebody who's capable of being loved, and cherished and respected, and capable of being a good mother, and all those things. And with that comes growth. By changing ourselves, can we truly change our outside world, right? Change happens from within. Wherever, there's a saying, wherever you go, there you are. Wherever you go, there you will be. Everything starts with the thought. It's never too late. If you feel like inside of yourself there's something you have to change, do it. If it's that important to you. Who the fuck cares? The only one who's gonna, live with regret is you. This next one is a little bit tricky for me to explain, so I hope I do the best I can, and I hope I relay this the best I can, because, we are responsible for what happens in our lives. With that said, with the belief that we are one consciousness in mind, we are also responsible for inaction. If we are one, and all 7+ billion people on this world are me in different realities, then there's a lot of inaction happening. There are humans that are karma. This plays into, understanding that without suffering there is no compassion. We're seeing it, and some of us are showing us the potential suffering, so we don't have to keep this cycle going on our next life, or so on, so forth. Focus. Think about focus, you know. A captain cannot pilot two ships at the same time. It's impossible. Adhere and pay adequate attention to your responsibilities. Yeah, nothing feels the worst. It's the worst feeling when you spread yourself so thin amongst things that you once loved, and you completely lose the zest for any of it. Your mind, what are you focusing on? If you're doing what you love, but you're focusing on the negative aspects of it or the negative results from it, that's not really going to, give you much positivity, is it? Place your positive thoughts on your values and the outcome on a positive note rather than a negative. It's hard to do, I understand, but it's anything is possible. It's kind of like this. If you're in a relationship and your partner leaves you and you find out your partner is with someone else, and all your focus and energy goes to meddling or fucking putting your 2 cents in something that is none of your business, what are you doing? Instead, focus on the positive. And this is a hard thing to do, man. I'm telling you, I've been heartbroken so much. I mean, shit, I was heartbroken into a fucking spiritual awakening. Anyways, focus on how you can feel like you're lovable, like that, how you're queen, king, how you are just as worthy and beautiful in all your own rights and nature, to move forward, because that wasn't meant for you, but something. Giving and hospitality, or in other words, demonstrating selflessness. Selflessness does show your true intentions. What are you doing when no one's looking? When you're not, susceptible to getting a pat on the back or recognition or a, hey man, that was really nice of you. You're like a true, humanitarian. What are you doing? Man, I've heard of a lot of people, especially in the media, these people that are, so righteous and shit. Really shitty people. Everything's coming out into the open lately. It's gonna keep going, so it's time we start thinking of who we really are and who we really want to be. Not for the outside world, but for us. I think that this one is, hits home for me, especially now, because I think about, my daughter growing up in a world where people are still genuinely kind and aren't just kind superficially. I have to lead by example. I have to be that example, because I know that if I can do it, she can do it, and so can many. And that's a beautiful thought. And I believe in it. I believe in you. I believe in you can be true blue, dog. Staying in the here and the now. Being present. Man, how many things. I mean, I think especially now for me, everything that I've up to this point, everything that I do is for my future. And that's not even for me, it's for the future of my loves. Deal with both your past and your future in the present by culminating to your presence in the present. That's it. If you adhere to your present, you won't regret your past, and your future will seem bright, that you won't focus so much on it, yeah? And then you can focus on change. History repeats itself until it changes. For every action, there's a reaction. It takes effort. Inaction does nothing. Need I say more? Step outside, look up at the sky. That's magic. The people that are around you that love you, that's magic. The fact, if you're female, that you can procreate is magic. The fact that, males can also help with that process is magic. Love unconditionally is magic. Self-esteem is magic. Humility and helping others with good intentions, the right intentions, is magic. Unity is magic. Thought, intelligence, words, art, paint, everything is magic. I think that the most valuable lesson that I learned on this one is that karma does teach me. It taught me a lot. It taught me that there's a lot of suffering in this world because of inaction. Karma teaches you to act. And it's time for us to start thinking and doing. Not just for yourself, but for others, because those are an extension of yourself, just like as if it was a child that you made. See how you can help those around you selflessly because you care. You want to see a better world around you, you know what I mean?